Hey guys, Weeby Newz here, and today we are back with a Danganronpa analysis video. It feels like it's been 100 years since I last made one of these. But yes, today at Nintendo Direct, against all odds, it was announced that Spike Chunsoft will be releasing Danganronpa 2x2 next year on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam. This includes a full remake of Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair with revamped visuals and presentation for modern consoles, as well as a brand new scenario based on Danganronpa 2, where the setting and the cast of characters remain the same, but a certain incident triggers a completely different chain of events with different victims, culprits, and tricks. It's also been specified that this new scenario will be on par with the length of the original game. So it's like a entirely new Danganronpa game, just with the cast of Danganronpa 2. First, I'd like to focus on the remake of Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. It seems like a vast majority of the images included in the trailer are from this remake. I looked through the old Danganronpa 2 gameplay and I was able to exactly pinpoint almost every single shot that was shown in the trailer. I'll go more into depth on these later, but as for right now, I'd just like to note that all the art seems to be revamped. The sprites all look to be completely redone. Same with the backgrounds. Mirai Hotel and all the buildings on Jabberwock Island were remade and they all look so clean and so high quality in comparison. It seems like the mechanic in which you move from one part of Jabberwock Island to the next is revamped too. Before we kind of got this side-scroller sort of perspective of Hajime running to each location, but now it kind of seems like we have more of a bird's eye view of the whole island and Hajime kind of running through it. With how much work we've seen them put into this so far, it does lead me to believe that there's a pretty good chance they'll completely remake the executions as well. I do want to note that in the trailer, the punishment time animation used does appear to be the same exact one used in the original Danganronpa 2. I'm hoping it's just because they're still developing that part of the game, and not that they're just going to reuse the same animation though. I feel like it's likely that that's the case. I think it would be pretty ridiculous if they remake everything in the game except the most iconic part, which is the executions. And if they do completely remake the executions and make them more high quality, I really hope they just make a completely new scenario for the Mikan one. They have to be aware of how, mixed reception has been to her execution, right? Right? A girl can dream. But yeah, the other huge announcement included in this trailer is that there will be a second scenario presented. Like I said before, this new scenario will have different victims, culprits, and tricks, and it contains just as much gameplay as the original. It's also specified in the Nintendo Direct trailer, one incident will trigger an entirely different scenario. So it seems like something happens at the beginning of the game that triggers a butterfly effect that completely changes the course of things. I've seen a lot of speculation online already regarding this, and it really makes me wonder, what will be the incident that triggers this change, and what will be the lore behind this new scenario? Like, it's already confirmed that this will have new culprits, victims, twists, etc. But what about Chapter 6? Why are we doing this again? So far, I feel like there's 4 possibilities. Number 1 is that I do wonder if there is a specific story reason as to why they chose to add a new scenario to Danganronpa 2 over Danganronpa 1, because Danganronpa 1 would be the game you'd expect them to remake and add a new scenario to, considering it's the original that set this franchise off. And I feel like the fact that Danganronpa 2 takes place in the Neo World program could be the reason. So walk with me. So in Danganronpa 2, we learned that all the characters were remnants of despair that were put into this program for rehabilitation. Obviously, the project goes sideways when AI Junko infects it and forces everyone into a killing game instead. At the end, Hajime and the others decide to create their own future and not give in to Junko's demands, and this leads to Hajime escaping the killing game, and once outside, his personality becomes blended with Izuru Kamakura's talents. It's revealed further in Danganronpa 3 the anime, Hope Side, that at some point, Hajime was able to use his talents to reawaken the rest of the classmates of 77B, with the exception of Shiaki, who was an AI. So what I'm trying to say here is that since this all takes place inside a computer simulation, it's sort of the perfect setup where we can add a new scenario to this game, and it can still technically be a part of the Danganronpa canon. The Danganronpa 1, 2, and Danganronpa 3 anime canon, I mean. Not V3. That's a whole other thing I'll get to in a second. But as for this scenario, one hypothetical could be, let's say, AI Junko enters the game. She wants Teru to kill the ultimate imposter because she's the ultimate analyst, and she wants to puppeteer these characters into committing murders that resembled the Danganronpa 1 murders. But let's just say she messes up somewhere. While she's not looking, somebody catches Kamida setting up one of the traps in the old building, and this causes the group to cancel the party and tie up Kamida, which stops the murder from happening. Thus, a new story begins. This wasn't AI Junko's plan, but hey, she's entertained and loves despair, so she decides to watch this new scenario through to the end before retrying and doing it the correct way. Obviously, this isn't the best new scenario template, but it's just an example to show that you could add a new scenario and then continue on with the canon much easier in this than you could with Danganronpa 1. In that game, you'd have to come up with something crazy like Nagi gets hemoanima in a time machine. They may not want to connect this game to Danganronpa 3 the anime. I'm just saying this is a possibility and could explain why they chose to remake Danganronpa 2 over the others if that is what they wanted to do. But it is likely that they did just choose Danganronpa 2 because it is the most beloved game in the franchise. Next is possibility number 2, and this is that this game is part of the V3 canon instead, and this is just some Team Danganronpa bullshit. I mean, the idea of taking a previous cast and making them Danganronpa all over again, I mean, it just screams Samugi, Team Danganronpa BS. Like they're just trying to milk this franchise for all it's worth. Like, oh, after V3 we're not getting any new volunteers to join Danganronpa anymore? Let's just make some AI versions of the Danganronpa 2 cast and make them keep playing Danganronpa over and over again. Surely somebody will watch it, right? Right? Possibility number 3 is that this could just be a completely hypothetical scenario that doesn't need to line up with Danganronpa 3 or V3, which to me is my most preferred outcome. It is a totally different scenario writer with Kodaka supervising him, so I could see this being a pretty big possibility. In this way, it'd be pretty similar to Kodaka's other game, 100 Line Last Defense Academy, where one decision can lead to a totally new outcome, and in that game there are routes written by different people. Notably, Yuichiro Koizumi actually did write some scenarios for 100 Line Last Defense Academy, but I haven't played those routes yet, I believe, so I don't have too much to say about his writing as of right now. I don't want to look into them yet for spoiler reasons, since I am still playing that game. But yeah, I think this could be a pretty big possibility too. And then finally, possibility number 4 is my tinfoil hat theory. So remember V3? They originally advertised it as Victory 3. Then, we learned later that it was BS, and we were actually playing Danganronpa 53, made by Team Danganronpa in that game's universe. I feel like they could be trying to trick us again here. We've all been waiting, helplessly, for Danganronpa 4 for years, spamming Kodaka about it on Twitter. And what do they do instead? They release a remake called Danganronpa 2x2. What's 2x2? 4. What's the title if you do the math? Danganronpa 4. So I personally wonder if there's actually not a new scenario with the Danganronpa 2 cast, and instead we actually are getting Danganronpa 4 with an entirely new cast of characters, and they've decided to advertise it this way just to mess with us, because they love messing with us. And then I guess when the real Danganronpa 4 drops, we'll all be even more surprised and hyped about it. I mean, look at V3's promotion. Why would I trust anything said by them ever again? There is another thing that could potentially back this up. Remember how I said I can pinpoint almost every single moment in the trailers to an exact scene in the original Danganronpa 2 game? Yeah, so the only ones I couldn't find a one-to-one comparison for was this moment of Kamaida outside of the boathouse. I looked everywhere in chapter 1 where this apparently takes place, but I did not see him standing ominously outside of any shacks. I could have missed it, or it could have just been him standing outside of the old building, and that building got a new design as the boathouse. The flowers next to it do look similar to the ones next to the old building in the original game, but I'm not totally sure. It's not so different though that I'm ready to kind of write it off and say like this is definitely in the new scenario and not the remake though. And then the other moment I couldn't pinpoint is obviously this new CG of Kamaida and Hajime looking out into the night together. In the Nintendo Direct version of this scene too, they have a couple of lines here. Nagito says, "Looks like we can get down from here." And Hajime answers, "What is that?" Most likely referring to the boat in the distance. I feel like the CG is pretty reminiscent of that final image of Hajime in the epilogue, looking out as Naigi, Tagami, and Kyoko sail away from Jabberwock Island. The boat in the scene even looks really similar to the boat they used in the epilogue. So I've seen some people say that they believe this could also be a part of the new remake and not the new scenario. Like maybe it's just a bonus scene for the remake. Like hypothetically, it's just a scene that takes place during the time of the Danganronpa 3 anime, and it's after Hajime has already revived Nagito from the Neo World program. I know this one's a bit more of a stretch, but I do think there is still a possibility that this is a part of the remake and not the new scenario. And so in that case, if these two moments are not from the new scenario, then we have not seen anything from the new scenario yet. Everything from the trailer has been from the remake, and it makes you wonder why. They had to have known that the new scenario is what everyone was going to be the most hyped about, so why not show it? Is it because they don't have anything new with those characters, and instead they have something new with new characters? Danganronpa 4 confirmed. Okay, like I said, it's a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory, but I am not dropping my guard this time around. Not after the trauma V3 caused me. So I just want to put it out there into the universe so they don't pull one over on me if this does happen to be the case. Finally, before we get to the one-on-one comparisons from the trailer, I do want to mention one other thing. On July 7th, the English voice actor of Monokuma posted this ominous tweet with the date November 25th, 2025, with a Monokuma laughing gif. A lot of us were wondering what this meant. At the time, I thought it'd just be something small like a brand new merch promo video or something like that. I think at best, I thought maybe it was a Dead by Daylight collab, but even that I wasn't super optimistic about. But with this new information, I am wondering if we're going to be getting a new trailer or more information about 2x2 on this date. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention that since I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about that date. Now finally, I'd like to go by each frame from the trailer and show how it compares to the original Danganronpa 2. At the very beginning of the trailer, we see Kamida greet us, and there's a bit of like a glitch effect on him as well, which makes sense considering the original game we were in the Neo World program and all that stuff. The symbol on his shirt is different though. It looks a lot more intricately designed and angular as well. I'm not totally sure why it would look different though. I did see some people joking on Twitter though that the incident that sets off a totally new set of culprits and victims is the fact that Kamida decided to wear a different shirt that morning. Next up is the logo, which I think honestly looks pretty identical to the old one. I don't think they've really changed anything there. And then obviously we have the comparison with the Danganronpa 2x2 logo, which has some flowers instead of palm trees. Kind of reminds me of the Danganronpa S logo, since that one also had a similar flower in that logo. Something else to note actually is that Yoichiro Koizumi actually was a writer for Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp as well. It seems like he wrote alongside 2 other writers. I'm not sure exactly how involved he was in the development of this game, but I will say it does make me a little concerned because I was not a big fan of Danganronpa S. But Kodaka is supervising this game, so I will have hope. Next, we see Hajime walking towards Mirai Hotel. And yeah, you can just look at the difference between Hajime walking the original in this kind of area versus this. I mean, it's like night and day. The hotel looks so much nicer, so much bigger, so much more detailed. Next up, we see the CG of Kazuichi, Teruteru, Ibuki, and Peko, and it looks pretty identical to the one in the original Danganronpa 2 game. I think they did just reuse the asset there. Next up is Usami Coral, and yeah, as you can see, just much more detailed, much more vibrant, but no more cow, which is kind of sad. Then we have this clip of Mikan saying, "Ah, so your name is Hajime. If it's okay with you, may I please remember your name?" This is from Mikan's introduction in Danganronpa 2. Yeah, you can kind of see the side-by-side comparison. You can tell her sprite has been totally redrawn. Her sprite also kind of feels a bit farther away from you than it does in the original, and the background seems to have a lot more dimension to it. Next up is the scene of Monami saying, "Love, love." I believe this is from this moment in chapter 2, when she says the same thing in the dining area. Next, we have the bathing suit shot of all of them. Looking at the art, I'd say it looks like it's the same as from the original game. The only differences I noticed for this one is that they seem to have added like a heat wave effect to it, and obviously there is a pan on the image too. Now we have this short clip of Gundam moving. In this he says, "Let us away, the world beyond the veil lies here." And this is actually from his introduction before you do a free time event with him. Next is this shot of Kamida. It's not a joke or anything, that's my actual talent. This is of course when you first get introduced to Kamida and he introduces his talent too. Some of the ones we talked about before, you can kind of see that he looks completely redrawn, and of course the background setting has a lot more dimension and higher art quality. He also kind of has more of a softer look to him. He kind of reminds me more of his design in the anime. Next we have this shot of Hajime running through Jabberwock Island, and yeah, it's a pretty big difference from this original kind of like side-scrolling view we got of Hajime running through everything. The next shot is this one of Monokuma telling them the rules of the killing game. I feel like this image might look a little bit more crisp than the one in the original game. It looks a bit more vibrant at least. So I think this is the new CG from the remake. Next up is the Suspicious Glare CG, and this does look to be the same, I believe, as the one in the original Danganronpa 2. I'm not noticing any big differences at least. Then we have the punishment time shot, which like I said before, does seem to be just reused from the previous game. They also included the Trial All Rise, which is shown before you start a trial, and it does look quite nice. Feels a lot more three-dimensional versus the original. Then we get this shot of Monokuma introducing them to the trial grounds. He says, "This is the class trial field. How do you like it?" And he says the same exact thing at the very beginning of chapter 1, right before they start the first trial. And yeah, as you can see, the backgrounds just look totally different. They had these little Monokuma statues in the background, which was what made me originally think that this might be in the new scenario since it looked different. But I think they decided to just totally upgrade the background for this area. Next, we have this shot of Mihiru saying, "That means you have no alibi." And we have Chiaki's account in our truth bullets. This is from the first trial. She says the same exact thing, and even the noise in the background is the same. "This bitch." and I agree with Mihiru. There is something a little bit weird about this shot. In the original one, she's in between Kazuichi and Hajime, but in the new trailer one, she's next to Mikan, and then it kind of seems like she has an empty seat next to her on the other side. Not sure what it means, but felt like it might be important to point out. And then finally, we have this one CG of Kamaida in front of the boathouse. Like I said, I couldn't exactly pinpoint this one, but I sort of settled on thinking it's just the old building, since the flowers do look pretty similar next to it, and both buildings do look kind of old. The only other thing is that there's no scenes that I could see where you could talk to Kamaida outside of the old building at night. You can talk to him during the day in front of the old building, but not at night. I'm not sure if they maybe just changed the times, or maybe this is just a part of the new scenario. I might be kind of leaning more towards the latter, but I do love my tinfoil Danganronpa 4 theory, so I'm keeping my possibilities open. But yeah, this will conclude the video. Thanks guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the trailer and what you think of my analysis and these side-by-side comparisons. It was really interesting to go through all the old Danganronpa 2 gameplay and like find a lot of these exact moments and just see like how much better they look. Like, I'm so excited. Like obviously I'm hyped for the new scenario, but I'm really excited to replay Danganronpa 2 as well with these new graphics because it really is just such an amazing game. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and let me know if you have any theories of your own. And please do be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you do enjoy my videos. That kind of stuff does help out a bunch. And yeah, I will see you guys real soon.